howdy, hey, and welcome to another episode of Disney Assembled. I'm Troy,
And I'm Amy.
and we are your happy little father-daughter podcast, here to create joy and share our love for all things Disney.
Disney Assembled is sponsored by our patrons over on Patreon. If you would like to join them, check out patreon.com/DisneyAssembled.
Yeah, we'd really appreciate your consideration. That membership starts as little as $2 a month. With that, you get access to all the exclusive patron-only content, including some of the messages I've been sending our friends over on the Patreon, and they respond to us. So it's all good. We like that. All right, Mimi, we are no longer in the professional studio. We're back to the normal stuff, right? You are still in Austin. I am back at Disney Assembled headquarters in the guest room. But here we are.
Here we are.
Removed from, it's almost a week, and almost a week removed from the Big Dad's weekend.
Yeah,
right?
Kind of. Yeah, I have been really sick this week. I've been really sick. Yeah, no, okay. Dad's weekend was really fun. I'm sort of the dates are all confused in my head because Dad's weekend was 2 weekends ago.
Right.
But the episode came out last Wednesday.
Was it 2 weekends ago?
Yeah. Because last weekend I was dog sitting. Dad's weekend was the weekend before. But the episode that we recorded came out a week ago today.
Right.
And I would have wanted to record earlier, but I was I've been really sick. Probably the sickest I've been since coming to college. Is how sick I've been this week. No, definitely not measles. We're definitely vaccinated. Thank you. Yeah, definitely vaccinated. But I just on Monday, my symptoms were really bad. My throat hurt so badly. And then yesterday I was just so tired. And, if you know anything about me personally, you know that I never skip class. I never turn assignments in late. It's just not who I am. But yesterday I was sitting in my last lecture of the day, that starts at 2 and ends at 3:30. And I literally fell asleep. My body was shutting down. And I was like, you know what? Nope. I'll make it to 3:30. I'll go home and then I'll nap. But then I checked my watch and it was only 2:10. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to make it the next hour and 20 minutes. So I just stood up and walked out. I was not feeling well.
Well, I was on mute there. You don't get sick very often, so
no, I really don't.
Occurrence.
I'll get colds every so often. For 2 or 3 days, I'll have stuffy nose, sore throat, maybe have a headache, but I never really get sick. And right now I'm sick. But I don't think I have the flu or COVID or anything because it's really it's not that serious. I think I just have a nasty cold and feeling better today.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter because things are looking up because spring break starts tomorrow. God bless.
Good. I'm on spring break now. You're on spring break next week.
Yes.
But we'll be able to see each other a little bit here and there. Guess what I did today?
What did you do today?
I did something very unusual today. I took a look at booking a Disney cruise for me and Mom, but I didn't do it because the Disney Magic this month is departing from Galveston, which is less than an hour away. And I thought, can we squeeze in a couple of days? No, can't squeeze in a couple of days.
That doesn't sound fun. I know people who...
I am warming up to the idea because everyone who goes on the Disney cruise loves it. They say it's clean. It's not like one of those booze cruises, through those other cruise lines. And I want to scratch that off my bucket list. I want to go on a Disney cruise one day.
You think so?
I do. I want to do it. If y'all want to go, that's fine. I'll go by myself. But I want to do that. I want to do that, and I want to be an annual pass holder before I kick off. Those are two things on my Disney bucket list.
I know people who... There's 2 kinds of people. I know people like the Disney cruises. Disney people like the Disney cruises. But I also know that cruise people also like the Disney cruises. It's not... cruises in general don't really sound very appealing to me. I don't really like
read more about it.
I just don't really like the idea. I don't think I want to be around that many people at one time with nowhere to run.
But
like,
you go to the park.
But when you're at the park, you can like sort of step off to the side and like be left alone, or like go back to your room, or like you get a Skyliner car to yourself. Like, I feel like on a cruise, like there's no personal space, and there's never anything that like is not shared. Like
you should
feel
listen
like
to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
when you're at the park, like when you get on your ride, when you get in the ride vehicle, you're the only person sitting in that seat. You're the only person sitting in that seat. You're not the first person to sit in that seat during the day, and you certainly won't be the last. And you're not the first person to ride in that honeypot, whatever. But on a cruise, all of the activities are mutual activities. Everybody's in the pool at the same time. Everyone's at the bar at the same time. Everyone's playing shuffleboard at the same time.
Really.
Everyone's
you
doing
can do
this
whatever you want. No, you can do whatever you want on a cruise.
I just feel like I would rather do a whole resort vacation and not go to the parks than I would do a cruise.
So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to reserve judgment until I actually do it. You've never been on a cruise. I've never been on a cruise. We have this stereotypical impression of what a cruise is, but I'm going to tell you something. Go back, listen to SCF ADP's top 10. They did one on one of the Disney cruises they just went on. They did a top 10 things they love on it. I'll listen to that on my way to go see you in Austin. When I finished listening to that episode, I wanted to get on that boat. I wanted on that boat. I wanted on that boat.
That's how I feel right now. I'm listening to the Dillo's Diz Disneyland recap. And okay, so I got new AirPods finally. After many years of my first gen AirPods that I bought with cash in the 7th grade, I finally upgraded to the new ones. Everyone is rejoicing. Everyone's very happy.
Is that what I have? Do I have first gen? Is that what this is?
Yes.
It's like second gen. I think it's second gen.
I have finally upgraded. And I don't know what it is about just the sheer difference in audio quality. It's making it way more bearable to listen to podcasts. Gotta be honest, guys. I do a podcast. I do pre-professional podcasting with the Daily Texan at school, and I do this. And I just really don't enjoy listening to podcasts very much. Like, I really tried to get into it. It just very rarely interests me. Now I'm kind of hooked. I don't know what changed. But I'm listening to the Dillo's Disneyland recap right now. Like, I listened to the one from last week. Today I'll be listening, or tomorrow I'll listen to the new one from last week. And I gotta say, I've got to go to Disneyland right now. Like, right now. Stat.
Let's go. Show's over. Let's go. All right.
Yeah. I have to cough again. So you have to come back and fill the air. No. I'm so sick. Right. This is so bad.
All right. Let's do this. You're doing a good job. You're hanging in there. You got your water bottle. Thank you for muting.
I'm a soldier. I've got my wonton soup in the fridge. Oh my god. Tangent.
Wonton soup. That's a heavy soup.
Okay. Here's the funniest thing. It's actually not funny. It's actually really annoying. So there's construction right outside my window over there. They're building a new residence hall. It's very loud. But I mean, it's fine. Yesterday, the construction crew knocked over an entire power line. And all of the communications buildings in North Campus, Durin, which is my res hall, and Kinsolving, and the Quad, which are all like the other North Campus res halls, all lost power for like hours yesterday. Luckily, I was napping when all of this happened. However, the world goes back to normal, the communications building turns back on, my building turns back on, the Quad turns back on, Kins does not. And you know what sucks about Kins not having power? That's where the dining hall is. The only dining hall within a mile of where I live has been out for 24 hours.
It's great for weight loss before spring break.
They are supplementing it by giving us bags of mini Cheez-Its in the basement. And also, my laundry room is now out. So what are you even paying for at this point?
The experience, the inconvenience. You have to learn how to live with inconvenience. Life
But
is
here's the
one
thing.
giant
No,
inconvenience after another.
I very
and you're
much
learning the
understand
most
that.
valuable lesson in college.
I very much understand that. But I also was really sick yesterday and really needed some food. And
Yeah, but at least you can DoorDash or Uber Eats. When I was
so
sick
that's
in
how I'm getting there.
college, there was no such thing. There was
So
no
I'm getting
such
there.
thing.
I ended up door dashing. Well, I called mom and I was like, the dining hall's closed. Do you have any power? And I'm so sick and hungry. And she was like, okay, I can pay for your DoorDash this time. And I was like, hooray, thanks, mom. So I have wonton soup and chicken fried rice in my fridge right now. It's healing me.
I'm glad. I'm glad you have something.
Yeah. We're now like 20
We have
minutes into
something
this.
too. We have a
haven't even-
topic to get to at some point, right? We've been tangenting for about 20 minutes, and we have a topic, our 2 cents about the 5 senses at Walt Disney World, which is a great title. I like it.
Yes,
I'm interested
I
to see
came up
where
with
we
that
go
one.
with this. Last Josh E.D. and a cast of other Disney characters, including Jon Favreau and Pete Docter and
Robert Downey
what's his
Jr.
name? Robert Downey Jr. Yeah, I was about to say Robert Louis Stevenson. Not the
Yeah,
same
no, not
person.
him. Oh my gosh, Matthew McConaughey was on campus today.
All right.
Yeah.
He was teaching
He was on
class, or was
campus.
he just on campus?
He was.
Okay.
He doesn't actually teach the class. He just comes in and like gives like a guest lecture every so often.
Right. Well, right. Yeah. But tomorrow was at South by Southwest. You're in Austin. South by Southwest is in Austin. Did you get to see him? Were you there?
No, I didn't go because it's not like it's not like a festival. You can't just like go. That's not really how it works. You have to have like clearance.
You're supposed to learn how to sneak into places in college too.
It's like a $1,200 badge to get the film and TV badge to be able to go and like listen to any of the panelists. The only free and like reduced cost stuff is like the film festival and like the music stuff, but like the red carpets and the movie premieres and the panelists, those are like big ticket items, like thousands of dollars. It's not really for like
Can you just dress up like a
spectators.
security guard or a caterer or something and sneak in through the back like they do in the movies?
No.
Security.
It would have been cool to go
press.
for sure.
You get a press pass.
It would have been cool to go for sure. And I think that just like would have been so awesome, but I just didn't have access to it. Like some students on campus did. But like I wasn't able to go. So
well, we'll get to that in a minute, but we do have a Disney Dad joke of the week to get to, and we have a series of trivia questions. We may ask some trivia questions during the show. I'm not going to ask any right now, but we have some trivia questions, so maybe at the end, if we don't go into any of the trivia questions during the recording, at the end, we'll ask a new trivia question. But we did have a Disney Dad joke of the week submitted by our very good friends from the Supercalifragilistic Awesome Disney podcast, Chris and Kelly. They submitted a Disney Dad joke of the week. And so I'd like to share it with everyone. So Mimi, are you ready for this week's Disney Dad joke of the week?
yes.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, it is time for this week's Disney Dad joke of the week. Mimi. I'm reading it off my phone so I get it right. All right. So, all right. Mimi, as you know, Gandhi walked barefoot most of the time. He walked barefoot most of the time. Yeah. Which produced an impressive set of calluses on his feet. He also ate very little, which made him rather frail. And with his odd diet, he suffered from bad breath. This made him a super calloused, fragile mystic hexed by halitosis.
That one's really good.
Yep.
That one's really funny.
You cannot blame me. You can blame our friends Chris and Kelly over at the
That was clever.
Supercalifragilistic Awesome Disney Podcast, SCF-ADP. They have a very entertaining and very good podcast. So if you have not listened to them, you need to check them out. They're also on Instagram mostly. So check them out on Instagram. I think they're at SCF-ADP on Instagram, but you can look that up. But yeah, Chris and Kelly, thank you for submitting that Disney Dad Joke of the Week. You saved me the trouble of coming up with a joke, even though I had one ready, just in case I had one ready. You'll have to wait till next week. So if you have a Disney Dad joke that you would like us to consider using on the show, if it is family friendly, if we've not used it before, send it to us, disneyassembled@gmail.com, and we'll take a look at it. We'll consider using your dad joke, whether you like it or not. We'll consider it. And maybe you too will get promoted on this podcast. All right.
Heck yeah. This episode feels
South by Southwest.
Like broad. We need to like rein this episode in. Like I'm already kind of like hazy because I'm like sick and we're kind of jumping around. So let's sort of like rein it in. Bring it in.
All right. Really quick. Let's go through the SCF.
Let's explain what
South by
is.
Southwest.
South by Southwest is a film festival, celebration, expo, convention, all of those things. It occurs in Austin.
Arts and
entertainment.
Yeah,
and
future thinking. Yeah, thought leaders.
It's kind of like Sundance, but it's not just a film festival. They also have panelists and like live music and stuff like that. It occurs in Austin every year in March, and it's just kind of a big deal. Some really big movies have premiered here. Some really big stars came in here. The new A24 movie premiered at South by Southwest, and there were a bunch of super famous people here, like Sadie Sink from Stranger Things. She was here. Blake Lively, I think, was here. Oh my gosh, I can't even think off the top of my head. I'm sure. Oh, Matthew McConaughey, he was here, obviously. But this year, we had the pleasure of hosting Josh D'Amaro for a presentation about the future of interactive storytelling at Walt Disney World. So that was the specific title, looking at interactive, immersive storytelling. And, I didn't think that we were going to get very many announcements. I thought we were just going to get a lot of, this is what we're doing, this is what the technology looks like, this is why it's important. But instead, we got this whole, bombshell of information, and also Robert Downey Jr.
Really? So I didn't. Okay, I'm curious. So you said bomb. Some of these things I'd heard of before, but they maybe went in a little bit more depth, right? A little bit more depth, a little bit more examples, right? Like nothing. Did you hear anything new? So if you're a Disney person that's been paying attention to Disney news, was there anything really new that came out of South by Southwest, or was it just more information about things that they've already announced?
They hadn't actually confirmed the vertical lift and the vertical launch for the Monsters Inc. coaster in the Danglegood. They never actually confirmed that. The Avengers Infinity Defense experience I had never heard of. And then just generally getting like any details about Stark Flight Lab, and the Mandalorian stuff. I think a lot of it was new. Like a lot of it was really exciting stuff, in my opinion.
Well, they brought the droids out, right? They brought the droids out, and the droids are going to be at Disney World. They're talking about bringing them to Disney World. That's new.
Thank God, because we never get anything at Disney World. California gets everything. They get Ahsoka and Boba Fett. Like, they get all the cool characters, and we get what? Nothing.
But these droids are really neat.
The droids are neat. They're completely autonomous.
Right. And by the way, if you're listening or watching, I think it's on the South by Southwest YouTube channel, you can watch the presentation now. Like, it was live and then they took it off. It was private and now it's public again. So I believe you can go and watch the entire hour and a half. I think it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, right? So for Lucasfilm, they had that. They had The Mandalorian and Grogu, which they're releasing in, I think, May of 2026. And on the same day that the movie's releasing, they have at Smuggler's Run, the new overlay for The Mandalorian for the ride is going to appear on the day the movie opens. So it's going to be together on the same day those things happen. That's really cool. That's good
Yeah.
synergy. I like that.
And just we have like a little Google Doc of bullet points just to kind of reiterate the Mandalorian Grogu stuff. Um what I think is really interesting to me about this is I'm curious to see who the villain will be um in this situation. Like, I mean, or what the story will be, because you're not going to be
Right.
collecting whatever it's called, Roaxium, whatever. Like, you're not going to be
Coaxium.
Coaxium. You're not going to be collecting
Yeah.
that. And I'm curious to know how they're going to work the pre-show and like all of that into the storytelling for the Mandalorian. But I also think this is really interesting because I guess I've never vocalized it, but I have long wondered if Disney regretted not going the Mandalorian route when developing the attractions for Galaxy's Edge. Like, I know there had to be some sort of Millennium Falcon thing because it's iconic and you can't not have it. But they've long sort of been teasing bringing the Mandalorian into the park at a higher level. And I'm very, very curious to see if this permanently sort of becomes the Mandalorian show instead of what
we'll
it is
see.
now.
All right, so let's move on from Lucasfilm and into, well, some of the park stuff. They did some stuff on the Cars ride in the new Frontierland area. We learned that the cars are actually going to be on a track, it appears, not trackless like we thought. I was a little disappointed in that. I thought the cars would be
Wait, which
trackless.
one? Oh, the Cars.
The Cars ride. It looked like the prototypes had them on a track. So I guess it's fine, but I was expecting them to be trackless. So I don't think...
It says it'll be an off-road rally race. So
it didn't move
I think
the
it's
needle
going to
for
mimic...
me.
Yeah, no, I think... Hang on, I have to cough again.
It didn't move the needle for me, the car stuff. I'm getting kind of sadder and sadder that they're getting rid of the Rivers of America, but
I agree.
that's because
Especially
I'm old.
because the Cars Land doesn't really seem to... Everything that we know about it doesn't really have it being to the same level as the one in California. The vibe I'm kind of getting is like a Toontown kiddie area. And I think this is going to be a kiddie ride. And I think it's going to mimic the third Cars movie, which nobody who likes Cars knows anything about, right? Like, I couldn't tell you the plot of the third movie.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They did a great job with what they did with Cars in California. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and wait and see what happens. I'm just feeling a little sad about losing that area the way it is designed. But what they described about the cars is really cool, right? I mean, the story is fine. I don't care. But I thought being on a track, I thought it was going to be trackless. But it's no big deal, right? It's no big deal.
Yeah.
I did see
I'm just curious to
that,
know, like, if it's supposed to mimic... I can't tell if it's supposed to be a kiddie ride or if it's supposed to be like the Radiator Springs Racer ride.
I think
I
it's going
just
to be a
can't
combination
tell.
of the two. I think it's going to be a little bit of each. I think it's going to be an all ages thing. They did. You referenced earlier the Monsters Inc. the scare door suspended coaster. They had the
I'm
little
really excited
prototype
about this.
video.
I'm really, really excited about this. I think this is not technology that's new at all, which I think is part of why it'll be so cool. Like, I think they're good. I think oftentimes people who are into thrill rides get very frustrated with Disney because they could be doing more state-of-the-art things with their coasters and they're not. But I think it's like almost like they wait for the technology to be sort of perfected, and they don't want to be the poster child. They don't want to be the guinea pig. They want to be the one that perfected it. They want to be the one that makes it awesome, right? And so I think it could be really cool. And I'm really upset about the Monsters Inc. area in general. I don't think it fits on that side of the park. I think it would make much more sense if it was next to Toy Story. I have so many thoughts, comments, and opinions about the Monsters Inc. land. But if this roller coaster is done well, I think it could be really cool. I just would hate to see it flop in the same way Tron kind of flopped. Like, the whole thing about Tron was that it was so cool and so thrilling for about 4 seconds. And then once you get inside, it's kind of boring.
I hope it's not a thrill ride that's not accessible to little kids.
Yeah.
because I think it'd be better if it was not so thrilling that it would scare off little kids, but
I
it
mean,
is what it
maybe, but
is.
I
And
also think that I think it's going to scare off little kids just because of the nature of what it is. I don't,
mm,
I think it's a hard sell to want to put a kid in a dangle coaster.
yeah, it's getting
I
rid of the
just don't
Muppets,
see a
so
world in, yeah,
as Mickey runs across the screen. Run,
yeah,
Mickey, run.
that's so funny. Like, you just like found that in the street.
I did. All right, let's move on from that part of the presentation. Let's go into, I guess, the Marvel stuff. I think is the next biggest stuff. I want to mention one thing before we go over the Marvel stuff that they did mention in this presentation. I thought was cool, and that is that Epic Games has been working on a gaming system that connects to your park experience. And so, whatever they haven't rolled out any details, but apparently if you go to the parks and you play whatever this video game that they're designing, that these things will start to connect in a virtual world so that your actual real life park experience has an impact on your virtual open world Epic Games thing. I don't know exactly what it is they're going for, but it sounds like they're looking for a type of synergy between your virtual video game and your actual park experiences. And I think that's an interesting concept because remember, we've been saying for years now that we think that your Disney Plus account should connect to your parks experiences account so that you can get videos and photos through your Disney Plus, and that Disney Plus could use an AI to suggest things for you to watch in advance of your trip based on your trip. So the idea that they're trying to combine this video game and real life experience gives me hope that at some point the Disney Plus and your parks experience can also find a way to have a little bit of synergy. But enough of all that. They talked about Avengers Campus, the Stark Flight Lab. They had a sample video of someone in a prototype being flung all over the place. I will not be riding that. I saw that. That looks like a twirl and hurl ride to me. And
yeah,
I don't see my motion sickness managing that. But they did talk about the what is it, the Infinity Defense with King Thanos as the villain.
Yes.
Now, they've announced this ride before, but they showed you a prototype of the ride vehicle.
But I don't think it's a ride. I think it says experience. I think it's going to be one of those like ride experience hybrids.
Here's what I think it's going to be. If you look at the ride vehicle itself, it almost looks exactly like the ride vehicles used on the Peter Pan's Adventure ride at Tokyo Disney Sea. So if you haven't watched a POV of that ride, you need to do it. Because I think this Infinity Defense ride may end up being a lot like the Peter Pan Adventure at Tokyo Disney Sea, because the ride vehicles really look exactly alike.
Wait, this is like actually speculation. Cool.
It's 3D and it's a very immersive dark ride experience.
It's like a 4D experience, yeah.
Right. So I wouldn't be upset by that because I don't want another ride that's going to make me motion sick. Like,
yeah,
thrilling.
Especially when you want it to be interactive. Like, you don't want it to flop.
Because you have your shooter ride with Spider-Man, right? You have maybe your dark ride with Infinity Defense, and then you have your thrill ride with the Stark Flight Lab. I think that gives you a good, well-rounded, and then you have the Guardians Tower.
The tower.
So that would give you 4 rides in Avengers Campus, with a couple of them being kid-friendly and a couple of them being more thrill-based, right?
Yeah.
I think that would be a good balance if they did something like that.
I just wish they had.
And then, of course, Robert Downey Jr. came out.
Right. I just wish they had dumped more into Avengers Campus quicker. I hate to say it a little too late, but that area kind of like fell flat after it opened, and now I feel like they're trying to revive an area that has sort of flopped for them. Now, who's to say this won't completely revive the area I think a lot of people are really excited about these projects. I just wish that they had done something with these spaces earlier.
Right. I hear you. All
Why are
right.
you
Anything
like
else out of
laughing
South
at
by
me?
Southwest? I don't
Nope.
know. I'm just laughing. I'm having a good time. We're live on YouTube for those of you who are watching. And Mimi has been getting over her sickness, so once in a while she'll cut out and cough and blow her nose and do all the stuff that she's got to do to take care of herself.
Yep.
But yeah, it's all good. We're powering through. Powering through. All right. Are we finished with South by Southwest?
I think we are. I think we can move on to our main topic that I came up with in my NyQuil haze.
NyQuil haze. So there are 5 senses: sight, sound, taste, smell, touch. So are we going to talk about sort of our favorite one of those 5 in Walt Disney World? Is that what we're talking about here?
Well, my idea was that we would go over all 5 of them and just kind of throw out maybe between 1 and 3 of our favorite things.
Because Walt Disney World is a multi-sensory
touch,
experience.
Correct.
Right. It is a multi-sensory experience there.
You know my least favorite thing to smell in Walt Disney World?
The bathrooms.
Turkey leg farts. Like walking behind someone who's like holding a turkey leg. Yeah, no. That's a no from me.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll get you every time.
Yeah. It's like, that's like too much meat.
So let me ask you this. Do you have a park area? I'm thinking one right now. An area in the park that you feel addresses all of your senses comprehensively. Like some areas of the park might be more sound and visual, and some places maybe more whatever. Is there a part of the park that you feel that all 5 of your senses sort of automatically are turned on in the same spot?
Moana's Journey of Water, I think that the whole point of that attraction is to sort of enact all of your senses.
So visually it's stunning.
Right.
There's music, I think, right, and sounds. You can touch.
Like,
it's got
the
a
water
touch.
Sounds. Yeah.
It's got a smell. It's got a smell.
I guess you can't really taste.
Can't really taste. Yeah, it would be bad to taste and lick the Moana stuff. That would be bad.
I would really
hope
5 no one was. Yeah. What were you thinking? What was the one that came to your head?
I was thinking about Main Street USA.
Okay.
You walk down Main Street, you can smell the popcorn, you can smell the confectionery. It's visually stunning. You got the castle coming at you, right? You've got the sounds. You've got the what am I missing? There's things you can touch in the stores. You can go in, you can manipulate things. And of course, there's places to eat, right? So if you wanted to eat, you could have a snack here or a snack there or whatever. There's balloons. So to me, you have a chance in Main Street for all 5 of your senses to be assaulted sort of all at once, right?
That's true. Okay, let's go sense by sense.
And let's talk about our favorite
pick out a few things
related to that scent. Or like our favorite Walt Disney World thing related to that scent. What pops in our head?
That was my vision for this episode.
Right. We'll have many of them, but what like sort of pops in your head is like is the thing that stands out.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Let's start with
what scent? Come.
Let's start with seeing, with vision. Sight.
Okay.
One of my favorite sights in all of Walt Disney World is Tron at night. I love to watch Tron at night with the blue light and the bubble. I love it. I also think Happily Ever After.
There's so many great things to see because everything is designed to, I would say, be visually stunning at Walt Disney World. The scale of everything and the contrast and the colors. Everything's a good picture. Everything's a good picture. So if I would say, a couple things pop in my head. Spaceship Earth at night. You can't take a bad picture of her. She's beautiful no matter what angle you're on, right? Stands out to me. I would say that scan down Main Street towards the castle, iconic, right? Iconic. I even like standing, like seeing the Thunder Mountain in the background, like in Liberty Square area. That's good visual. Of course, all of Batu at night, but Toy Story Land during the day. So I think these things stand out for me as visually.
Also
just very impressive.
The French pavilion, like the Remy's outdoor area. I really like the way the outdoor area of Remy's is done.
Yeah, visually,
I think it looks very pretty.
Yeah, I think visually it's easy, right? You could throw a stone and hit something that is visually stunning at Walt Disney World. So
absolutely.
Of all the senses, it's the easiest one. Right. Of all the senses to pick, it's the easiest one to sort of say, oh, yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful, because there's so many.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, everybody's going to have their own favorite. So, yeah.
For sure. Okay, let's move into smell. Our favorite things to smell at Walt Disney World. You go first this time.
Well, if you're talking about smells, I'm talking about the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yes, of course.
Right. I mean, there's a smell. You can smell the pictures. You look at the picture, you're automatically brought back there. I think that stands out to me easily. The pirate water stands out as a smell. And I think the other would probably be, if I had to pick another, the popcorn. There's just something about the smell of popcorn at Walt Disney World. It sort of makes you feel like a kid. It makes you, I mean, you may not buy it, but the fact that you can smell it is like really important to me, at least. So those are the smells that stand out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the one that stands out for me was Pirates, obviously, but also the Polynesian. The Polynesian lobby. There's nothing like it. It's just so... It's perfect to me. It's perfect to me. If I could make my house smell like that, I would. And I long for the smell of the Polynesian.
There are some smells that aren't so pleasant at Walt Disney World, but not many. I don't know if you saw recently I really feel bad. I'm not making fun, but I really feel bad. Somebody in the Guardians line had a significant issue.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a terrible thing. I feel bad for that person. I'm sure the cast members took care of them, whoever it was. But yeah, I think the Polynesian lobby, pirate popcorns, can't go wrong. Confectionery. Yeah. You walk by the confectionery and you smell, I mean, come on. You got to go get a cupcake.
It kind of like
or something.
Gives me a headache though. TBH.
Yeah. Well, so we got sights and smells. What else?
Let's move into touch. Things to feel.
So this one's very interesting because I would say things on Tom Sawyer's Island because they're very interactive, but that's going away, right? I would say for touch, that's a great question. Where at Walt Disney World would we be using our hands? And
I really like the feeling of like sitting in the people mover cars. I just like how it feels to be there. I like how it feels to hold a Mickey bar in my hand, duh. And also just like hugs from like characters during parades and stuff. That's always so sweet. Like, little high fives and hugs.
Yeah. High five, especially if they were in the big fluffy Mickey glove. Those are cool high fives.
I would say that's the thing that I've been most excited about being a cast member for. Just like giving out high fives and stickers to like little princesses all day.
Listen, it's going to be hard. There's no guarantee. You got to really work hard to get chosen for that. It's not a guarantee.
But I also know that I need to speak my future into existence. So yeah, those are my favorite things to feel. What about you?
There are different attractions that as you're walking through the queues, there's interactive elements that I think are really fun. I think the Buzz Lightyear and the Toy Story Mania
Yeah, the little
shooter
guns.
things, right? And then just kind of holding on in the rides, but the interactive queue stuff. I know Thunder Mountain's got interactive queue stuff and stuff like that. Yeah,
I have one more. The Pandora Flight Passage, just like all the 4D elements that come with that, like the breathing and the water on your face, all that kind of stuff.
How about the ball pit and Dumbo's Circus as you're waiting?
No, not for me.
No ball pit. Okay.
Not for me as a guest, for sure. Okay, so we've done sight, smell, touch. What about taste? We've kind of done something similar to this. We've talked about our favorite snacks.
But things that are...
Mine's a Mickey bar.
Right. Well, the thing that when you're eating it, you are transformed into a new space. There's no... You can say Mickey bar. That's fine. You can have Mickey bar. Dole Whip in Adventureland or at the Polynesian. The Dillos talk about this too. There is no taste that says you're in Disney more than a Dole Whip. And in Adventureland or at the Polynesian, I think those
I just disagree.
What?
I just disagree. Like, I think there are things that are on the same level as a Dole Whip. To me, nothing hits like a Mickey bar at the park.
But you can get an ice cream bar at
They're
home.
not the same. They're not the same.
I've tried those frozen Dole Whips. They're not the same either.
Right. Exactly. They're not the same. But
how about a Mickey waffle?
No. Waffles taste the same everywhere.
No.
If we're going to talk about things...
The Tonga toast? Tonga toast.
I didn't like Tonga toast. That's all you. I don't really like...
Why are we doing
the Pog juice is good.
Who are you?
The Pog juice is really good. Okay. If we want to talk about like the
Pog
best
juice.
thing to taste...
Okay, Pog juice. Okay.
Pog juice is good. But if we're going to talk about the best thing to like taste in Disney World, it is obviously Liberty Tree Tavern mac and cheese. Okay. That nothing beats it.
How about the gray stuff?
It's so good.
I like the gray stuff.
The gray stuff was good. The gray stuff was good. It's definitely not my favorite of the 3 desserts they give you, but the gray stuff was good.
Blue milk.
Ugh, no, never that.
The blue milk.
Never that. The milk is so disgusting. What about pizza Rizzo?
The meal at Hoop-Dee-Doo.
Hoop-Dee-Doo.
It's just meat.
I miss the Hoop-Dee-Doo.
There's so many tastes. Taste. So ranking so far, visually, the site is number 1.
Right.
Taste might be number 2.
Well, there's so much to like eat and snack on, and we've eaten so much of it. Like we've tried.
Down at the bottom. Well, smell. Touches down at the bottom. Would you say smell or taste?
I would say taste is probably second, and then
smells,
and then smell underneath it. Because I feel like there are more iconic like snacks and foods that come to my mind than there are scents. So we get.
How many do we have left? 1.
Sound. 1, and sound, and I think sound. And
sound my rival site is the best.
Sound is probably my favorite one. I've talked about this before. The Tron Tomorrowland ambient music gets me through my day. Someone made a joke to me the other day. They're like, what if you get stuck at Cosmic Rays during your college program? I would be thrilled. Because then I get to listen to the Tomorrowland music all day. And I'm okay with that. I love it. It's nothing beats the sound engineering in Walt Disney World. Everything is so intentional in every single part of the park. Tomorrowland, great. The Happily Ever After soundtrack, great. The Harmonious soundtrack, great. The Remy soundtrack, great. It's beautiful.
There's so many sounds that Space deserve Mountain, recognition. Great. The queue for Jungle Cruise with the old-timey radio station going on. Beautiful, wonderful. They got the iconic music, the pirate song, the Haunted Mansion, the Grim Grinning Ghost. Iconic. You've got the Main Street sounds, the train in the background and the ambient music for Epcot. Walk around Epcot. Wait, I mean,
you're missing the most important
tears
sound. You're missing a really important one. In Hollywood Studios.
Which one?
It's a ride.
Mickey and Minnie's?
The whole song was created for the ride. And now it rings in our heads all the time, and we have our own version of the song. Nothing
I do like the song. All right, don't go there.
I'm not going to sing our version. I would like to be hired by the Disney company, so I'm not going to sing our version.
We have no version.
Our version really just makes fun of us.
It's been clean.
It's really just makes fun of us.
Sounds about too. The ambient sounds about too. Like there's ships flying overhead and there's critters and
Sunset Boulevard
noise.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just we could go on Pandora. Pandora is built on sound.
Yeah, the whole thing is yeah.
We could go on and on and on about sound. IMO. I think sound rivals sight.
Sight and sounds easily are the top two senses being stimulated at Disney, in my opinion.
I agree.
And you can argue sights or sounds. I think they're both equally impressive.
Right.
Smells and tastes. I would say smells before tastes, and here's why. There's smells that are related to things outside of food that are impressive. Because if you go into the Storybook Circus area, they have the Smellephants on parade. You can do the Smellephants. I don't know if they work really well, but there's smells outside of the food. Taste is just food. You can't taste, at least I hope you're not tasting like souvenirs and the grass and the pavement.
Yeah, I guess
and then
that's
touch. Fair. Touch is interesting because the different whereas you walk changes, the cobblestones and the smooth street. So I think touch is probably last. If I had to list them, I would go sights, sounds, smells, tastes, touch, feel.
Okay. Mine would be different.
That's my order.
Mine would be sound, sight, taste, smell, touch.
Wait, go through yours again?
Mine would be smell, sight, taste. Wait, sound, sight, taste.
Smell, touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would just flip smell and taste with mine. You had the same as mine, but
and sight and sight and smell. I have smell first, or I have smell first. No, sound first. This is too confusing.
You had sound first, yeah.
This is too confusing.
How many S's?
I know, and I'm still like so sick and like not here. Is it the Disney trivia question?
You're doing great. The trivia question is also potentially confusing. So, Mimi, why don't you share with everyone the Disney trivia question for the week, and then you can explain to everyone how they get in touch with us so they can share their own thoughts about the 5 senses at Walt Disney World.
I would love to. The trivia question is so nicely timed because I just watched this movie. Okay, the question is, finish this quote from Hercules. For a true hero isn't measured by the size of his strength, but by the strength of his blank. So, if you know the answer to that question, or if you have any thoughts, comments, opinions, questions, etc. about the South by Southwest stuff, or about the 5 senses stuff, please feel free to send us an email, disneyassembled@gmail.com, or you can send us a message on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, all at Disney Assembled. But if you guys want to support the show further, the link to our TeePublic, Patreon, buy us a Dole Whip, all the other awesome stuff is on the website, disneyassembled.com. Make sure to go check it out.
Yeah, we have a YouTube channel. You may be watching us on this right now as we're doing this live on our YouTube channel. If not, if you're listening to the podcast, go to youtube.com/Disney Assembled. Hit the subscribe button so that the next time we're live, it'll be easier for you to join us. We'd really appreciate your consideration. Of course, tell your friends about the show. It helps us create more joy, get the word out about who we are and what we do. And if you have the ability to do a rating and review for Disney Assembled on the podcast player of choice, or if you're on our YouTube channel and you want to leave a nice little comment, we'd really appreciate that. So yeah, it helps other people find the show. It helps us create more joy. All right. I know you're not feeling well, but you stuck through there. This has been about an hour long. So congratulations, virtual high five, hands to the camera. Woo. Yeah, very good. That's going to look really bad on the video, but it's okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Disney fans of all sorts, we hope that this episode brought a smile to your face, an extra magic to your day, and that extremely important sprinkle of pixie dust to your week. Thank you so much again for listening, and until next time,
See you real soon.